Hey, what's up everybody? It's Ivory here, and in today's video I wanted to show you how to create a snare from scratch, and especially a dubstep snare, kinda like this one. It is pretty common in dubstep, and it's also very easy to do once you understand how a snare works. You need to keep in mind that there is three parts in a snare that are really important. The first one is the transient. So that's going to be the very first part of the drum. This part right here, the clicky part. You can find the same things in kicks as well. So that's the part of the drum that will really help the drum to cut through your mix. Then the second part going to be the body. So it is the part that comes right after the transient. Here and here. And the body is that you're gonna feel in your chest, and the part of the snare that you're gonna hear as well, the one that will have the most tonality. And finally, the final part of the snare gonna be the tail, so the end of the drum, and the tail is mostly composed of noise, filtering, reverb. I'll show you all of that right now. It is important to know how a snare works, because if you start making a snare and, for example, forgot the transient, then your snare is not gonna get through the mix. And if you forget, it's just gonna sound like a tom or a kick, a high-pitched kick. So yeah, those are really important to keep in mind. So I'm gonna use Serum for this. Serum and sine waves. So I'm going to rename this right now. Let's call this one transient. Let's clone it. Let's call this one body. Let's clone it again. And let's call this one tail. All right. Now we can link those three Serum into different channels here. Okay, I'm going to make another group called final snare, where all the three elements gonna be linked in. Like this, control click. And yeah, there we go. We can now start making the snare. For the transient, you want something clicky and very short. And for this, you can use any wavetable you want. But you can also use the noise here. I think by default you have some really cool attacks here from kicks and other stuff. So we could maybe use that, but I wanna try to do it with a sine wave at first. So what I'm going to do is take the first envelope here and make it super short. Way shorter than that. Okay, this sounds better. And now to make this click be way more heavier, I will add another LFO here to the coarse pitch and make the pitch go from super high to very low in a very short amount of time as well. It kind of creates a sort of zap sound, but this zap gonna be used as a transient. See, it is way more clicky now. And I can turn this up if I want the click to be even more present. I think this is gonna be okay. We can maybe now layer some noise with it. Let's try some bright noise. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's maybe add some distortion, some EQing to remove the low end. But we will go back into this Serum to tweak it accordingly to the other elements. So now I'm pretty happy with the transient, so let's go over the body. So for the body, you want to have a clean sound while having it a bit punchy. So the way to do that is the same way I did it with the transient, but the settings with the LFO are kinda different. You will see why. So first of all, we're gonna shape the body. And for this, I want a longer shape than the transient. Let's also turn up the octaves here. This is gonna be okay. And let's make something short like this. All right, I'm going to do something right now. I think you can do that in Ableton as well, but it is just different, but it is the same concept. But I'm gonna link the 3 serums to one layer here, so I will just have to press this one to play the 3 serum at the same time. I hope that makes sense. Right, set children. And now if I click on this, yeah, it plays all the serum together. So let's just enable transient and body for now. All right, and let's shape the body. Oh yeah, okay. When I click on the body, then it only plays this one. Never mind. Let's maybe add some distortion. And we're gonna also add some modulation here on the pitch to make that body a bit clicky, a bit punchy. So instead of having just that note, toot, 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 you will have that punch at the beginning. You don't want it to sound like a laser like this, because you are losing the note of the body if you do so. You only want it to be at the beginning of the sound, so you have a click and nothing else. Let's turn this up. Okay. All right, so now we can start to create our tail. So the way I do that is by using some noise here. So you can literally use the plugin you want, you know. I use Serum because I'm really used to this one. And I like the way you can filter the sounds. But you can use literally whatever you want. So take a noise, and the key for making a tail sound interesting is to add some movement in the filtering. So you don't really want a static noise like this. Even though if this could work, having some movement will just make it sound more real, you know. So let's add some high pass filtering, because we don't really care about the low end of the noise. What matters here is this area here. So let's first of all shape the noise. Right, and now let's use another LFO to modulate the filtering. So I'm honestly always doing different stuff with it. I'm just trying until I have something that sounds cool to me. And that's not too bad actually. Right, maybe higher. Right, let's add an EQ and add even more movement. All right, and we can even add some Serum imaging in there. Just a little bit. All right, so how is everything sounding together now? Really bad. But that's because there's no processing yet. And also because we need to tweak each individual Serum patch to make them sound great together. So what I'm going to do is just draw a MIDI note. And start tweaking the patches from there. So I want the tail to be a bit, I want the tail to play a bit later than the transient and the body. I don't want the three parts of the snare to play together at the same time, you know? You want the transient to be overlapping the body just a little bit, and you want the tail to be overlapping the body just a little bit. But you don't want everything having all the transients clashing together. So for this, you can do this sort of shape on the clap. Don't do it too far away because it sounds good. It sounds weird. We can maybe increase this as well. All right, and now maybe move the body. Sometimes having your transient clashing with the transient from the body create cool results, but sometimes not. So feel free to play with the attack of the LFO, controlling the level of the body to, you know, leave some room or not for the transient. All right, and now we're gonna start processing the three elements together, just to have an idea on how that will sound at the end. And for this, I use distortion. Distortion is really what's gonna glue those three things together and make it sound like a real snare. So I, most of the time, just turn the drive all the way up. It's gonna sound bad, but I just dial back the drive knob a little bit until it sounds good, and this is gonna be my starting point for mixing the snare and the three parts together. So let's play this. Oh. Alright, so what do I have here? The tail needs to be louder. So I'm gonna EQ it and just make it sound louder by maybe saturating it. Using some wave shaping. I love this, especially on claps and cymbals. Also, the body sounds very distorted to me already, so I'm just gonna turn this down, even just get rid of it. And turn the distortion a little bit. And make that clap be a bit brighter. Where the clap is. Here. I sometimes don't really hear how things sounds until I put them all into the group with the distortion. It is hard to instantly tell if your clap gonna fit the body, you know. So that's why I like to use some processing in the early stages of the sound design session, to really have an idea of how everything will sound together. That's super important. And as you can see, it really helped me now to figure out what was the problem. This starts to sound like a good snare. We are not done yet, but we're getting there. So we can maybe play with the shape of the noise now. Play with the body, transient, and all that stuff. Oh, see, my curve was a bit too long, and it was making my body sounds weird. And if I just shorten it up, it's way cleaner. You still have that click at the beginning, but the body is way cleaner. Alright. How is my transient sounding so far? Not that good. Let's try to process this. Oh. Okay, now I feel like my tail could be longer. Is this too long? Probably. Let's also play these few semitones down. That's what I love with making snare with Serums. It is that if you link everything together, you only have to play different notes here, and you have obviously different notes with the snare. If you go too far away from the notes you started to create everything from, it tends to sound weird.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Weird, so you will have to adjust the curves again, the transient and the length of each individual elements, but it's not a really big problem. All right. Let's keep tweaking those things until we have the perfect snare. Is my clap too long? Alright, I kinda like this. Let's distort it a bit more. See, now that we have like better settings, we can go harder with the distortion. Okay, so let's EQ this out. Let's EQ some frequencies out. This is pretty loud. What we can also do is maybe add some convolution reverb on the tail, like so. Maybe reducing the length of the impulse so it's not too long. Kind of like this. All right. Now we can, continue processing that snare. So let's compress everything together with OTT a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want to destroy that snare. Yeah, this is just gluing things together a bit more. That's kind of weird, but I love to use disperser on snares. It's gonna be really hard to explain, and I don't think I will even be able to do so, but I use disperser to emphasize the transience of stuff. It could be kicks or snares. And the way to do it is to put the disperser around the high frequencies where most of your transients are sitting, and just turning the pinch all the way down and the amount down as well, and just turning the amount up again until you hear some changes in the transients. It's gonna create a sort of zap sound. So if you do it on the low end, you will instantly hear that that's not what you want. Let me play it. You know, it just fucks everything up. But the higher you go, the better it sounds. But the amount is just too big right now. See? I don't know, it's very subtle, but I can hear that it adds something in the top end, a sort of zap sound I really like. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on the drums. Maybe some more EQing. Oh. All right. What can we add on this to make the snare sounds a bit more interesting? We could, for example, layer another clap. Yeah, Vengeance. I like this tail. All right, so let's layer it to our snare. I don't really want the very first part of the clap because we already have a clean snare, we just did. So let's just fade this in like this. All right, let's put the snare back here. And now we can even shape that clap a bit more. And let's introduce that new clap into our post-processing. So let's turn it down. But this way, it's gonna really be part of your snare. And obviously, you can go crazy and add some post-processing on that clap to really add, I don't know, some new tonality, some new texture. I like to do things like this, like isolating a specific frequency from the clap and just make it resonate. So let's see what key is this in. They say D, but I think I pitched it down. So D, D sharp, E, F. It is in F. So let's go into our clap and find where F is, around 600 Hertz. F, 698. All right, there we go. So this is supposed to be F. So I will never do that for mixing down my stuff with an EQ. This is strictly for sound design purposes. And if you hear someone saying that, you shouldn't boost your EQ, you shouldn't do this, just stop listening to them. Because there's no fucking rules. And believe me, EQing stuff sometimes just make you discover new sounds or frequencies that were kind of hidden in your signal. I mean, there's really no shame doing that if you control it afterwards, of course. See, I'm like really shaping that clap in a different way by just playing with an EQ. It seems like we added another layer, a sort of tonal layer to it, but no. So what I like to do then is just drowning this into a reverb, like so. maybe turning down the stereo imaging. I personally don't like when snares are too wide, so I like to, you know, keep it more centered. We can maybe EQ this a little more. Alright, and now we can maybe limit this, soft clip it. Let's see what will work best. So when it comes to like limiting my drum for the final processing, I'd say, to export my drum, it's either soft clipping or saturation or limiting. It really depends of all the effects I've used and if I want the transient to be super pronounced or not. When I use Pro L, I tend to have a softer transient, and when I use soft clippers, I tend to have a way stronger transient. But both are not fitting in every tracks. Not all tracks need that super snappy transient. So that's why it is cool to use different plugins and see what works best for the drums you're creating. So let's just load G-Clip as well. I honestly kind of like how it sounds with the limiter right now. Just sounds clean without distortion. See, the transient are kind of small. I could maybe just emphasize this with a transient shaper at the end, which have a limiter integrated. Yeah, that's a bit better to me now. The transient is just stronger while not being overpowering the rest of the drum. That's clean. I like it. Now you can just, you know, play with it, do different stuff, layer more stuff to it. This is my favorite clap ever. I only use this clap since maybe 2015. You know what? I'm gonna save this one because I really like it. Let's go! Brand new snare for the sample pack. Alright, so yeah, I hope the tutorial was helpful. As you saw, it is not super complicated to do a snare. So next time, if you are like looking for new drums, maybe just spend 1 hour trying to do your own, because it is super fun and you can learn a lot from it. Alright, so I hope the video was helpful, and I see you next time. Peace!